Hey, what's up guys, TheJordude here, back again with another Shadowverse video. This video will be a little bit different. I'm going to be going over my lineup and strategy for a tournament that I recently played in and actually won. So the tournament I participated in was the Panda Cup Invitational number 5. I was actually a substitute player for, I believe, Prepcoin. He couldn't make the tournament, so I was filling in for him. And so I was contacted by Lewis, the Panda, and my day was pretty free, so I decided to play in this tournament. However, I only had a few hours to submit my deck lineup, so I quickly built together some decks and submitted it, and it worked out well, as I won the whole thing. So the format for the tournament was to be last hero standing. If you guys don't know what last hero standing is, basically you have your decks, you play your first game. If you win the first game, or if you win the game, you have to play that deck again, the same deck again. And if you lose that game, you can no longer play that deck and you have to switch to something else. So we had 3 classes, 3 decks, best of 3 through most of it, then best of 5 finals. But initially I actually thought there was a ban because I'm so used to tournaments having a ban format. So my initial strategy was to ban Burn Rune and bring, because I had Shadow, Force, which is slightly unfavored against Burn Rune. So my plan was to ban Burn Rune. However, since there was no ban, that kind of caught me off guard for a bit. I also woke up a bit late because I got time conversions wrong. But aside that point, like, it was like a small difference that I couldn't ban Burn Rune. I actually didn't play. I only played against Burn Rune, I think, once. Like one opponent, Derxello, brought it. So it actually worked out fine for me. As you can see here, I was initially going to bring Portalcraft. Decided against it at the end because I didn't feel confident on drawing Deus Machina on turn 6 every game, so decided not to bring Portalcraft. But Portalcraft would be a counter pick towards like slower decks like Haven, for example, or Dragons got pretty decent matchups because they got Rifts in here. So Portal was initially for that, decided to scrap it, brought Shadow, Rune, and Force. So the decks that I brought for each class, mid-range Shadow, of course. The reason why I brought mid-range Shadow is because tier 1 deck right now in rotation doesn't really have bad matchups. The bad matchups I would say are Burn Rune, and some people brought like a Control Haven, which has a lot of banishing effects and a lot of AoE damage. So I guess that would be good against Shadow. However, I just brought Shadow because it's at worst is my opening deck because it got decent matchups across the general board. So mid-range Shadow is a good opening deck for me. It could win a lot of matchups, and I played the deck a lot. So I have a lot of experience playing the mirror match, a lot of experience playing against Dragoncraft. So I was really confident bringing mid-range Shadow, of course, and nothing too special about it. Brought 2 Odaos for the mirror match. That's pretty much it. That's like I would say that's variable. Otherwise, it's quite a standard list. For Rune, I brought Dirt Rune. However, you can see I'm playing the Silverblade Golem. This the one Silverblade Golem, I just put it in there kind of as if the game goes late game where I'm playing the Silverblade Golem, I could get a couple of Verdict Rituals and then I could win the late game through Burn. Usually this is a rare case, it doesn't happen too often, so I just have one in here just for that kind of niche situation. Just kind of like a tech choice for the tournament. And then the rest is pretty standard Burn Rune. Figured this would be a good deck to queue as a counter pick against decks like Forest or mid-range Shadow, Portalcraft. So that's why I brought the Burn Rune. And then my final deck was Control Forest, or it is Elephant OTK, but there's a lot more control aspects to it. As you can see, I'm running the Israfel and Sahaquil package. And the reason for this is because it helps out a lot for matchups like mid-range Shadow and Portalcraft. If you Sahaquil Israfel, you can also get over big things like that Dragon might have. This matchup is pretty good for Dragon, I would say. Its weakest matchup, I would probably say, is Burn Rune. Mid Shadow is alright because you do have Wood of Brambles, you have a lot of you have Insect Lords, you have 3 Cassiopeias in here, so it does have the tools to beat mid-range Shadow as well. And then anything else like slower matchups, like Control Haven, Portalcraft, and this deck is like really good against. So this is why I decided on bringing Forest. I didn't want to bring Dragon. The reason why I didn't want to bring Dragon is because I just hate there's a lot of times when I'm playing, especially on ladder or something, and I have a super bricked, clogged up hand with a bunch of 10 drops, 9 drops, and I can't play anything, and I just die. So I didn't want that to happen. I wanted my decks to be slightly more consistent, which is why I brought really consistent curved decks, such as my Mid Shadow, my Dirt Rune, and my Control Force. And they all have their purpose. Once again, Dirt Rune was to counter like Mid Shadows. It's also good against decks that are weak against burn, like Portal Craft, things like that. Mainly those two matchups, and Control Force as well. Mid Shadow, just a solid deck overall, great opener. In last hero standing formats, is really important on your pick order. The first game is really important, and there's a lot of mind games that come into it. So to mitigate the mind games a lot of times and variants, you just open up with your most consistent deck across the board, which is Mid Shadow. So that's why I brought that. And then Control Force for slower matchups. And actually, the best Control Force was actually my best deck in the throughout the tournament. 2-0 in the first 2 rounds with Forest, and then it won more matches later on in like the semis and the finals as well. So Control Force, my top performing deck, my MVP deck, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm going to attach some gameplay from the tournament VOD. I got permission from Panda, so I'm going to showcase the match between me and Derxello. I think that those were really good games for you guys to enjoy if you guys missed out on the tournament itself. If you guys actually want me to kind of like do a breakdown of the games, like do game analysis, then let me know in the comments below. If there's enough interest, then maybe I'll do that. But since I haven't made that content before, I'm not too sure if you guys want to see that. But as always guys, thanks for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Hey guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on that notification so you know when new videos are up. Give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment down below. As always guys, I appreciate the support and thank you so much for watching my video.
TheJordude, again, shout out to TheJordude. Yep. He filled in last spot while somebody dropped, so shout out to TheJordude. You know, happy to have him. Yeah,
TheJordude, and he will be playing his Shadow, Rune, and Forest decks. And let's see what they start off with. So going into this, we have the Runecraft mirror match.
Ooh, excellent.
Oh boy.
Okay, so you're talking about
got the Magic Illusionist, Carl.
The Shadow mirror, how it's like going first an advantage. What about in the Rune mirror? Same thing.
Same thing. Oh yeah, absolutely. Look, he's got the double Magic Illusionist in the Silent Laboratory. The only thing not going for so on top here we have.
Ooh, he's got
Mr. Zello on top, right?
Zello's at the bottom, I believe, because he's the one hosted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I get confused right there.
Yeah, no, it's so confusing. Trust me. So Zello's got
next thing for
turn 1 Sigil, turn 2 Illusionist, turn 3 Carl. It's the dream.
Yeah, he's got the dream hand, especially the turn 1 being the Witch's Cauldron. It's just that cherry on top of making it even better, right?
Yeah. So, are you supposed to ignore the opposing Illusionist? Yes. Just go face?
Race. You're going first as TheJordude. TheJordude, since he is going first, his advantage here is that he can race faster.
Right.
So
he'll get to play his spells first, essentially.
Yeah, that's the advantage he wants to go for. He wants to race as much as possible. But the nice thing for Derxello is he has his Carl to heal up now. So he can actually heal up that damage and he can start racing back.
Yeah,
so
Carl
it gets odd.
Gotta be super good in this matchup, especially when you chain it with the telescope. Lets you cycle through, get a free heal, doesn't cost any play points. We see very similar boards here.
Yeah, and I think we're just gonna see the Silent Laboratory into the illusion. Oh, actually, he doesn't have room for that.
I think so you start with the telescope, right?
Well, he has so much things. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could telescope here, but he has so much stuff in hand that uses Earth Rights. Yeah, that it's kind of hard to just use an Earth Right there for, like.
I think the reasoning is that while you have a Carl, you get a free heal essentially.
Sure.
And maybe that's, I mean, the heal's got to be worth a lot in the matchup, right?
Interesting. So he decides to trade out here with the Golem instead of going face for 3 with that.
Yeah. So it looks like he's going to choose to answer the board, ignore the Illusionist, everything else go face. Which seems like a pretty sound strategy, to be honest.
Yeah. And now he gets rid of Zello's heal completely. Yeah. So there's nothing left in hand for Zello to heal back up. And now Zello is on the back foot and he has to trade at this point.
Right. So he trades so he can get value out of his Illusionist. But the reality is that like now he's not going face, and this is an aggro mirror match essentially, right? Or burn, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, but we see for the late game, actually, Zello has the better card advantage. The Grand Summoning Circle and then the Master Mage Levi. Well, you know, JorDude also has a Levi. He doesn't have that Grand Summoning, and there's a little bit more of a card advantage, including a board advantage for Zello. So
true. Well, I mean, it looks to me like Grand Summoning could be good, but and correct me if I'm wrong here, but like in the late game, by the time you're playing this, like, you know, turn 7 or whatever, turn 6, the wards could be ignored by the spells, and then the board could just get cleared by the Master Levi anyway.
Right. So because JorDude went first and it's gonna hit 6 mana first, he's most likely gonna have to play his Levi.
On 6,
he doesn't have 2 Levis to answer this summoning. So once he plays his first Levi, that Grand Summoning is then a lot better because now he has no Levis in hand to answer that Grand Summoning, or he can play his own Levi. Like he's able to play around that Levi a little bit more, especially because it's hitting 6 second. But still, JorDude does have that advantage of going first, and we see the Wizards of Oz being picked up, so he'll feel a little bit more comfortable to empty out his hand here.
Yeah, like on the other hand, he could play the Levi on 6, and then once the summoning is played, his response could just be, oh, okay, well, you have wards, I want to send spells to your face, right? We see the Piercing Rune, Evil the... I always get Clark and Craig confused. To me, they're like such random names for like magicians. I don't know, man. Halo Golem used to trade.
It's like those Japanese t-shirts that have random English words on them.
Yeah, exactly.
That don't like really mean anything by themselves. It's like somebody just wears a t-shirt with the name fun, or like just the word fun on it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's lower capitalized and just a period at the end.
You know, we could talk about like, you know, the cards here, how they works, the tempo, the board, card advantage, all that. I feel like at this point, it's just decided by the life lead, right?
Yeah.
Like, JorDude has a significant life lead, and that's truly all that matters. It doesn't matter if he's down on cards, doesn't matter if he's down on board, if he could just Oz into a spell or two and close it out, basically.
Yeah, he has to Grand Summoning here. He needs to create a board. He needs to do something to get back into this game because he's constantly trying to have to trade back and forth, and that's just honestly the power of going first in this mirror match.
Does Grand Summoning, like you say. You have to... Do you want to clear the Levi?
Yeah, it's too dangerous because you could die to Mutagenic Bolt next turn.
True, yes. Like, so the majority of the burn is like damage of 3. Like Halo Golem, Master Levi, Chain Lightning. It's all like increments of 3 damage, right? So at 6, like, you're basically dying to like 2 things, which is...
Chain Lightning.
You're not too comfortable.
Wizards of Oz into 2 Chain Lightnings right now. There's one. He could top deck another. If JorDude top decks another Chain Lightning here, that is it.
Mutagenic Bolt would also do it.
Yes.
Gonna play...
Oh, he doesn't go for it. So, I guess he doesn't have the heart of the cards.
Well, I guess he knows he's not gonna die. And if he waits 1 turn, his...
This gives him... I mean, he's still gonna win off of this.
Yeah, I like his play. I actually like his play a lot.
Like, it's a little too safe for me.
Well, yeah, it is safe. That's the thing. Like, it's tournament, playing it safe. Like, the Wizard of Oz is the flashy, like, YouTube highlight clip. His play is the tournament winning play, basically. So, I respect it.
I want the flashy YouTube
of course.
highlight.
We want to have those highlights, you know? But
JorDude is a YouTuber. He knows this.
Yeah, shoutouts to JorDude. Again, excellent player. Takes the lead 1-0. So now, Cello has lost his Rune, which I feel like has been his strongest deck so far. What do you think he would counterpick with?
Or rather, JorDude lost his Rune, right?
No, JorDude won.
Yeah, so JorDude loses, or
no, you stay with the
counterpick.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm getting mixed up in.
Yeah, no, there's like a 50 million different formats people use. I know.
Yeah. Well, there's the Havencraft, so that is.
Yeah. So Haven, while not having that crazy heal that you might think a Haven deck would have because side games, please. They do have the banishes for the early Mordecai's. He has the AoE to clear the board. He's got Tribunals to answer with the ambush minions. And he does have some heal in the form of Curate.
Right. And like we talked about before, Haven probably has the best chance at this matchup. And, you know, obviously we see Zello has a little bit more of a standard Havencraft list than Mr. Cure Mango was running, so...
Oh, I want to talk about Naois. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Nice.
Yeah, so this is like, I guess, his tech against... I don't know if it's like meant to be against like Dragon or something.
Aisha.
Against Aisha? Yeah, that makes sense. Does it do anything against Burn Rune? I guess not, right? Because like we're saying, they do 3 damage at a time anyway.
Yeah, it's just a 2/2 for 2 at this point.
Well, cool card though. Respect. It's cool to see people bring out their tech essentially.
But, I guess it does play pretty... Oh, no, it doesn't anymore. I guess if he waited a turn, he does save 1 damage from the Mage of Nightfall.
Yeah,
but he still has the Grimner, so...
You don't want to fall behind though, right? Like, playing 2 is probably still okay, right?
Right. So, I guess just having a 2/2 for 2 is not too bad, right?
Yeah, still pretty solid. Jordude's hand seems pretty okay. No early sizzles with Mordecai, but otherwise pretty solid. He has Carl's, Levi's, Piercing Runes. Seems okay so far. Not too explosive though.
Yeah. I think he's just gonna Piercing Rune trade here. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Get some damage in.
Like, as the Haven player, I feel like the longer the game goes, the more favored you would be. If you can survive the early aggression and get to your curates, right?
Right. And there we see he does pick up the first curate, so he's not looking too bad going into this mid to late game.
Yeah.
And this is really where Burn Rune is supposed to be having a gigantic board, right?
Right.
And just doing a ton of damage next turn.
What I was going to say is that the thing about Burn Rune is that while it is an aggressive deck, their minions don't really have Storm or anything like that. So they still have to play them, and then next turn they get to get the damage, right? If you're Haven and you can just clear his board every single time through things such as Tribunal and Tea Time, then he's going to save that early chip damage. And realistically, you're not getting burned from 18 from just Pels. At least not in like 1 or 2 turns.
Interesting choice to Evo this. What does that play around? I guess that plays around a Blackened Scripture?
Like a Cudgel, maybe?
I suppose?
Sounds like
I guess
a perfect
play around
answer, though.
Cudgel, but it's pretty perfect for that Tin Soldier.
Yeah. Like, I guess he's making a hard read of what Selamites have, and maybe it would have paid off, but because it didn't, like, now essentially, like, he still gets his board clear, but on top of that, he's down in Evo.
Yeah. And this 3 damage isn't even that a big deal because of the curate.
Yeah.
And this is actually kind of nice for Jordude because the Judge of Retribution doesn't hit this Levi.
True, and Dark Jane is super awkward with it too.
Yeah, there's not a good answer to this Levi in hand besides playing that Judge of Retribution and then Evoing.
Joe and Evo, yeah. Like, it's still good enough. You still draw the card, right? So I'd say Cello looks like he's in a good spot, but you can never count out Wizard of Oz top decks into a bunch of shenanigans, right?
Yeah. We've seen it happen one too many times.
Trust me, I see it day in, day out.
These are really interesting evolution choices from...
I think he knows he's behind, and he needs to make those hard plays, basically. Because now, it's not answered by the Judge or the Dark Gene. Well, Dark Gene does answer it, but then she dies herself. Which I guess
Dark Gene does clear this.
Yeah, like, if you're Derxello and you have the lead, you don't care if your Dark Gene dies. You still maintain the board. I mean, you clear his board, right? And you have the extra Evos anyway.
You're also up 1 Evo now. Like, your opponent doesn't have an Evo.
And he has the Tribunal, so it's not even like Jordude could play like a Nora Master Levi. I mean, he could, but he would just get cleared anyway.
Yeah. It's also pretty tough for Jordude because those mutagenic bolts don't really have any targets. You don't really go wide with these Haven decks. You kind of play this one really big follower, and then you kind of let that just sit there.
And now that he's not facing any pressure, you can definitely slam the Curate. 5 heal is massive at this point. It's like 2 or 3 cards from Jordude. And the 5/5 is not a bad body either.
Derxello is just waiting to draw into his win condition at this point.
Yeah.
It's getting into his side of the game where he's feeling more comfortable. He just needs to draw into that win condition, that Aegis, whatever that may be. And Jordude's just going to continue to just keep trying to ping face with that Chain Lightning now.
Yeah, he's getting good value out of it, but it's like 3 damage a turn, which realistically is too slow at this point. He did get the Mordecai, but we're past the early game. It gets easily answered. And there's also going to Evo the face. Put him on a critical clock. Yeah. I think I kind of like this. Like, he knows he doesn't need the evils to answer the board anyway, because there is no more board to answer.
So this has to be probably a mutagenic bolt.
Cycling his cards. You're just gonna chain lightning in the face again? Okay, there's the bolt, like you said. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Silent Lab into mutagenic.
He does get the Tin Soldier again. Well...
Yeah, but without the Evo, the Tin Soldier doesn't do anything here.
And, like, if you're Haven, like, the rats are... They're not that bad. They actually help you close the game out.
Yeah, it's not a terrible... He actually board locks himself here.
I mean, Jordude needs Oz, right? Aside from Oz, there's no way he's making this comeback.
Halo Golem, so that's 3.
He can Mutagenic, get 5 rats.
So what is
Take
that? That's
5 to the face, right?
3 plus 8. Yeah, I mean he can put Zello down to 4, I guess.
If he does what? Halo Golem face and then Chain Lightning face?
And then Mutagenic bolts. Mutagenic bolt into Halo Golem.
If he bolts, he's dead because he'll take 5 damage and then
the rest and then he dies. Yeah, I'm just saying if he can kill him this turn, but it's not possible. So
he would have to like.
Levi?
Well, he's got to answer the board. He's in a really bad spot. I think that may be game.
He has to Levi and Halo Golem to clear out the board.
Yeah. Yeah, Levi, Halo Golem, clear the board. And then maybe top deck Oz next turn, I suppose?
Yeah. I mean, it's not impossible. Like, it's
okay,
still don't see a win condition yet. Black and Scripture. Yeah, he's gonna overdraw something. Could possibly overdraw an Aegis here.
At this point, I feel like it doesn't actually matter where he has the Aegis or not, though.
Sure.
As long as he can stay alive. Like, if he burns like Curate, maybe that's massive. Because if he draws a second Curate, like, that's definitely game. Right now, technically speaking, the TheJordude could top deck. He could top deck Oz and actually kill him.
Ooh, Tribunal. That's actually a big loss.
I like the way that TheJordude played that. Because he knows he's not dying to this too. And if there was a Dark Gene would kill the minion, so it would not allow for the extra damage to be pushed to the face.
Right, Dark Jean doesn't actually help the case here. But that other Jean does.
I think he's trying to draw for Curate. Does not get it though.
I think he'll...
Well, you have to answer the board, right? So Bacon Gene?
Yeah.
But then now you die to Chain Lightning, right?
You die to double Chain Lightning.
Yeah. Like, man,
did my...
Jordan actually made this comeback? Wow. That is... I mean... I gotta say, he played that excellently. Like, that is complete mastery of that deck.
Risk. Yeah.
I think most people would have counted him out like 5 turns ago. Jordan says no. He refused to, go down. Chain Lightning to the face. Time over time. Eventually it pays off, and he moves to a 2-0.
Chain Lightning. Can't sleep on it.
Okay, well, Jordan is in an excellent spot here. Even if he does lose the next game, he has 2 games to counterpick and just get the final win. If he wins the next one, he moves on to the grand finals. Is guaranteed at least 2nd place and is guaranteed to be in the money.
Yeah, Mr. Zello here needs to come back 3 games in a row to even win this. It's gonna be a pretty tough order. Now, but if anybody can do it, it's gonna be Shadow.
It's gotta be Shadow, right?
It's gonna be Shadow.
But people say that the triangle is Rune beats Shadow, right? Supposedly. Like Rune beats Shadow, Shadow beats Dragon, Dragon beats Rune, something like that? Or do I have that triangle wrong?
I don't know.
I mean, Shadow could beat anything, right? Like, you could say whatever. Like, Shadow could in any day beat anything.
So. Into Illusionist. It's pretty good.
Oh, he's got the dream.
Oh, but look at that. The Goblin into Bellinus into Skull Ring.
They both have the dream.
I mean, they both are drawn like GMs. They're both drawn like they want to win this. So who knows at this point?
You can see a ton of skill here. He doesn't have the Craig or Carl, whichever one it is, right? But he can still play another Sigil on 3.
Yeah, no, he'll just play the Illusionist. You can't really trade it out here. Most likely... Oh, now he can. So the zombie party does match that.
Choose to the score
he's actually just going to ignore it, yeah.
Yeah, it's the on-curve play, right? And he's just going phase. It seems okay as well.
It's not bad.
Yeah. Like, it's hard to know when you should go face and when you should trade. But honestly, like, when your deck is aggressive, going phase has big rewards, obviously.
Especially in Shadowverse where the health pools are so low.
Yeah, so
going
low.
face is typically the right place.
Like, consider a 2-drop.
Smart.
Every time it goes face, it's like 10% of the total life lead. You know, that's massive.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So now, the TheJordude is forced to be the defensive one, and now he has to make the trades. Now, he does have the Evo next turn going second, but he doesn't have any minutes in hand. He could even Evo.
Yeah. I think we're going to see a Zombie Party Demonator here, just to draw up here. Yeah,
Zombie Party Demonator, the 1/1? Yeah, I guess it makes sense you draw first then.
Yeah. And there's the Thane set up for turn, or the second Thane, I should say. Yep. Set up for turn 7.
He was able to answer the Early Illusionist. It wasn't that big a deal. He still has a board lead. He's got a life lead. You know, we're talking about how Jordan's in a good spot, but Cello could definitely make this comeback.
Right.
Laboratory's pretty good.
I mean, we've counted TheJordude out before.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it came to bite us in the butt, so.
I was going to say, now do you start going face then?
Yes, absolutely.
Like, even though he was straight early on,
at this point.
His deck is still aggressive. He's still going to go face.
Yeah.
He does have Master Levi, which I feel is perhaps the most crucial card in this matchup. A turn 6 Master Levi answers Shadow Board and pushes for phase damage, and the bulb's a 4/4. Kind of good.
Yeah. I mean, turn 6, he has 2 different options. He can go aggressive or he can go defensive with that Grand Summoning.
Yeah, he has the option.
Really, he's going to set up.
I mean, he has the Os as well and the Chain Lightning. Like, his turn 5 might be awkward. Do you Chain Lightning to trade? Or do you ignore the board because you know you're going to clear it next turn anyway with Levi?
I'd Dwarf here.
Okay, Dwarf is an excellent draw, yeah.
Yeah. So Dwarf Evo, set up the another Earthright for the Grand Summoning or for
the
whatever
Levi.
Wizard of Savage pulls.
And then you're setting up for like a turn 7 Os, something like that.
Right.
On the other side, Cello, he's got both the Thane and the Ektar.
Yeah, he's looking pretty right now for turn 7.
He might have an awkward turn 6 though. But if you get the corpse down on turn 6, if Levi kills it, like he kills the Levi, so it's not that bad.
The double Chain Lightning in hand. Oh,
a little awkward.
So good.
He's gonna go down to 10 here, although, you know, in range of Asia, but this game probably not getting to turn 10 to be honest.
That's such an awkward turn for him right there. Turn 6, all he has to drop is a Lurching Corpse.
Yeah. That said, though, the fact that it's Corpse and not like a bonus or a Goblin, significantly better, of course.
Right.
Do you Grand Summon in then instead of Levi?
Yeah, you want a Grand Summoning here.
Because you want to save the Levi for the Thane?
You know what? Maybe. Yeah, so you want to save it for the Thane, and you also got to prep for the Ektar next turn. But also, by not clearing the board, you also... Well, I think what he'll do is play Grand Summoning here. Evo, one of the Grand Summoning, probably the 0-2 to a 2-4 to clear out the Demonator.
There's Grand Summoning.
And just leave...
Leave the corpse alive?
Yeah, just leave the corpse.
He could Ektar?
Corpse is going to get a tremendous amount of value, though.
Oh,
wow, he doesn't need Evo. Okay.
Okay, so you have a lot of options here as Cello.
Well, he can't Ektar, actually. Well, he can, but he doesn't have the shadows for it.
I mean, it would allow the corpse to trade out, but Thane, probably pretty good here as well.
It's not bad.
Yeah. Like, when you have minions on the board to trade, Thane just pushes so much extra random damage out of nowhere. Those whites are actually crazy. I imagine he trades the 4-3 with the 3-2. Clears that and it gets 2 phase damage.
I think he wants to kill the Lurching Corpse here, so he might just trade the Lurching Corpse into the
first
4-3
and then
see what he hits first.
Yeah, that would not be bad. Although, keeping the corpse is not terrible because you're respecting the Levi next turn, right?
Good hit.
Okay, well he's
at 8.
He's got a good board. Jordan's hand is...
Oh boy.
You're gonna eat one.
I mean, it's looking pretty tough for TheJordude right here.
Yeah. Even if he draws like a Mutagenic Bolt, it's not even good at this point because the rats will do... Well, the rats will just kill you basically. Especially behind Nectar.
But even with Levi here, he doesn't clear the board.
Yeah, you'd have to Levi, then Evil Levi. He loses Levi. And Cello is at 11, which is not in range of being able to get bursted. He just play another thing.
Having to Evo into a 6-6 to trade into a 6-1. It's like the worst feeling ever.
And even worse than that, you know you're giving him a 0-cost White King.
Yeah. A 3-4 with Ward with Bane for 0 into another Thane.
And he just plays Thane again? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And now Ektar will set up Lethal next turn. Shadow is not necessary, basically.
Yeah, there's...
So Oz is not drawing cards here, which is unfortunate.
It's bad.
I think that's game, right?
Most he can do is 6 damage here, yeah. It's pretty much game.
Okay, well, Cello is able to finally take down the burn deck. He goes 2-1. That said, TheJordude now he's got 2 decks, 2 more games to finish out the set.
There it is. This is the start of the climb for Derxello to try and take back this set. And yeah, if it's gonna be anything, it's gonna be mid-range Shadow. So
yeah. So now if you're
TheJordude decides,
it doesn't really matter what you counterpick with because you only have to beat his Shadow deck anyway.
Once.
So it's just a matter of like what deck do you feel comfortable with? Like what do you want to bring out first? We've not seen Control Forest in the tournament yet, but a good amount of players brought it, and I think it's a pretty solid deck right now.
The new board, and there it is. That is the Control Forest.
I think it's a lot of fun to play. If you guys are watching, you guys have not tried Control Forest because it's not one of the top 3, definitely try it out. Deck is super good, and it's actually super fun to play.
Alright, well, one of my favorite cards in the early hand, Insect Lord.
Dude, Insect Lord is a surprise. Like, he's so much better.
Good.
Like, so much better than I ever thought he would be.
Everybody slept on that card.
Yeah.
I think the only person I saw talk highly of that card was Akmara Red. He's like, that's going to be a good card. Shout out to Akmara Red.
Yeah, no, I slept on the Insect Lord, and then people were like, you gotta try it. And then when you play it, you're like,
gotta look at it.
Holy shit, it's too good, right?
Yeah, because there was this Twitter video from this Japanese player. He killed a full Bahamut with Insect Lord.
Damn.
By playing a bunch of fairies into an Insect Lord, into a 0-cost elephant, into Insect Lord again. Wow. So Insect Lord soloed the Bahamut.
Okay, so here we have... interesting to note about TheJordude's Forest build is that he's playing the Israel package, which I want to say is not really standard, but the thing about the Control Forest is you can really build it however you want, as long as you play like the core cards, and he chose to build the neutral package, which...
I feel like Sahakuyo Isafril has become very standard.
It's just so good. It's so good.
It's so good.
And especially against Shadow, right?
Yeah.
It's like, when you play those 2 cards into your deck, you're getting one, like, a good turn 7 where you can AoE the board, develop a minion, and not spend an Evo. But on top of that, you're also getting yourself a nice legendary that gives you a massive heal. And a lot of times, Israel will just tread as lethal because she pushes so much damage.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen this elephant deck list on ladder quite a bit, and I think it's actually pretty good in this current meta, so...
for now, TheJordude's going to just clear his board and get that early chip damage in there. What I like about the Force deck is that you could play for the early board, you could play as a control deck and just answer your opponent, or you could just play like sort of as a combo deck, because eventually you have a combo that does, you know, from 17 to like 21 damage.
Right. Well, there's the double Thane Ektar we've grown to love in that early hand, and Luriel actually showing some promise in this early game. What we talked about with Luriel being that good counter to the mid-range Shadow mirror match, which is actually pretty good in this one as well, especially when you don't have to deal with that early Brambles, which is what makes that Forest deck so viable in the early game, is the Bramble, but we don't see the Bramble, and that's why I actually like seeing the Starry not a lot of people play that right now.
I personally do. So it's cool to me how
it's such a good card.
A card like Laurel is just a 2+1/2/2, which you'd be like, oh, that's bad. But the fact that it does 1 damage certainly becomes a really good card. Same thing with like Belinus, right? Like the 1 damage matters so much, it's crazy.
Yeah. It's a very big deal.
Yeah.
So this is kind of an awkward turn for mid-range Shadow here. He's like this between 5 and 6. It seems like Zello's deck kind of misses. It doesn't have a lot to play in these 5 to 6, especially when you're drawing 4 7-cost cards.
Because he keeps drawing his 7 drops, right? And to be fair, Like, once he gets past these awkward turns, his turn 7s are going to be just
goes off.
Explosive turn after turn, right?
Right. Because no deck is currently punishing that.
Yeah. Like, I don't suppose you Demoneer this, so what, you trade Zombie Party? It's awkward and you give initiative back?
That's what's awkward about it, yeah.
But you don't have another option. Like, there's no way you Demoneer here. You would fall way too behind.
Yeah, you have to trade it.
Yeah, one of the things I like about the Jungle Knight is that, like, you play this for the late game burst of damage, but it's burst of damage that's defensive because it leaves you behind wards, and you can also play it in the mid game, and it's not a bad card at all. Definitely one of my favorite cards for the deck.
A double Sahako in hand, man. That's 3 Israfil board clears.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about how there's double Taints and stuff. You already know how those are going to get answered, basically.
Yeah. Man, and that's unfortunate. He has to play this Lyrial into a Demon Eater just to draw.
Another very awkward turn. Also, as the Forest player in this matchup,
Demon Lord.
if you get that early chip damage, you can get to a point where you can kill easily with maybe only 1 elephant, or you don't need a full hand size. It just makes things a lot easier.
Another Israfil.
I mean, why not? It's not even that crazy a board, right? But you push damage, you live up before 4.
And you push for 6.
I mean, look at Cello's hand, man. This is...
Yeah. This is the biggest brick, I think. This is so odd, right? In any other matchup, this hand is kind of okay.
Yeah.
But this...
Man, how do you feel about that aggressive evolution? Like, he really wants that damage.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he can end the game here soon.
Yeah. Like, Ektar is good. Like, Ektar will clear, and then you could evo over the Sackquill. You're gonna get
but then you just...
with another Sackquill, right?
Yeah, another Sackquill and Derxello.
I think at this point, Jordan is set up for a turn 10 lethal with the Elephant. Like, you're gonna Sackquill on 8, Israfil on 9, just so you don't die, and then turn 10 Elephant to the face for the game.
Full hand Elephant is lethal here.
Yeah. I don't believe that
another Elephant.
Cello plays Ceres or any sort of heal like that.
No.
And each time
there's no stress in this hand.
Yeah, each time the Israfil clears the board like this, that 2 phase damage, it adds up, you know. We're talking early on about how that 2 damage matters a lot. It adds up.
It does.
Okay, Thane.
He's just hoping for no third Sahako here.
But you know he has Israfil in hand, so you can just play the Israfil and then Evo it. Puts him at 6, which is in range of dying to Elephant. And Elephant goes through wards, he doesn't care about the White King.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think this is...
I think this game...
it a little soon, but I think this is game.
This game is a good example of why you see so much Sackquill, Israfil, and Ladder. Like, showing the power of that combination.
It's such a good combo.
Yeah. Yeah, he's 100% dead to Elephant next turn. Unless my math is super off, which I definitely messed up my Elephant math, but pretty sure he's got it next turn. You can White King, doesn't matter.
6 plus 1 is 7, minus 1 is 6, so
yeah.
Quick maths.
I gotta say, I like the art of the Elephant. They made him like such a... He's so buff. Like, man. Kind of motivates you, right?
White King does not stop the buff boy here.
Yep. Elephant does not care about the wards.
And that is it. JorDude is going to close it out with Mr. 6-pack Elefante.
I think he's got like a 10-pack. Alright, so JorDude will move on to the grand finals. He is guaranteed to be in the money, at least 2nd place. So now we'll have to go through the losers bracket to see who will face him for a chance to be the Panda Cup 5 champion.